So what I used to do was I used to play 14 hours of League of Legends and other video games a single day. And what that binge gaming led to was that during those 14 hours, I would frequently miss dinners and times and appointments. And I would always miss the time to do homework or do other productive recreational activities, because I'd rather spend that hour on another ranked game than to actually go out and interact socially with other friends. Because the time it takes for me to get ready and actually be there is 40 minutes, and a ranked game usually takes around 40 to 60 minutes per game. So my calculations and my time management skills really became bogged up by this sense of missed priorities and messed up priorities, right? And I thought it was a privilege for me to be able to play video games at a very high competitive level. And I thought about maybe streaming and becoming a productive, guru about this, playing League of Legends at a certain level and having all these followers and supporters online. But one thing I missed was the interactions in my daily life with other people, and I became this social recluse, this sort of walled-in hermit, that I forgot to actually expand the boundaries of my social parameters, and I always stuck to League of Legends. And that was quite depressing. Like, it wouldn't be depressing if I had just learned how to control my desires and addictions to the level where I could only just play, let's say, 2-3 hours of games or 10 hours of games per week. But once you get addicted and hooked onto the ladder, climbing the ladder, it seems like the more time you spend on League of Legends, the more worth and value you're gaining out of the community. And for example, every 10 hours you somehow build this functionality to become a somewhat small percentage of a higher player and a competition. And you get really addicted to this sense of improvement, like you're beating other people in a 5v5 PvP arena with all these learned strategies and these creative, smart outplays, and you get hooked onto this dopamine triggering sense of events that people really esteem and respect, and the crowd really goes crazy about your plays, and you become self-absorbed. And I think that is where my addiction really started. I think the ability for me to land certain skill shots at certain situations that led to the victories for my team, and how my teammates would really cheer me up, saying I was the greatest player and how I was this amazing person with amazing talents. And that in and of itself is an amazing activity. I feel like the WHO ban and restrictions on the disease factor of gaming addictions and how it's become the illness of 2020, I think that is somewhat absurd because of the competitive plays and the required IQ and high intensity games that people in the 1% high tier competitions actually play. is they use different brain signals than the other 99% who just binge game, right? But it is absurd because those people at the top 1% of the pyramid, they got there through competing against the 99% from the bottom. So without the binge gaming, periods, 14 hours a day, just aimlessly clicking and playing video games and League of Legends and tactics and all, you can't really get to the level of professionalism without all that accumulated time. And that time might be considered as somewhat prerequisite for your outstanding professionalism in League of Legends as a video game player. But it's just, there's this certain stigmatization against gamers, and it's that they are very depressed, these queer, these weird individuals who always stay inside on Friday nights instead of going out to party with cool people, right? That's how this society really stigmatizes the gaming population. Now, the gaming addiction has really become almost an epidemic. Now, there are really two sides of this argument. There are one of the prominent arguments made against gaming addictions is that we have become severely addicted to video games, and that we forget our social responsibilities, our life responsibilities such as family, work, and school, and that really hinders our ability as an entire population to kind of succeed, right, against the national competitions and the international interrelationships with other countries, and for the society and for the community, and how the productive individuals really get debilitated by this addiction. And so it really boils down to certain people having benefits over others, right? For example, the gaming industry has, accumulated billions of wealth through these exploitations of gaming addictions, some might call, and those benefits aren't really returned to the government or the WHO sides of these institutions that really govern the world circumstances, and is really this resemblance in politics and sophisticated endeavors in our debates around this WHO addiction crisis is really argumentative. And first off, I'd like to mention that I don't think that gaming is an addiction that has to be treated as a disease, because once we start to abort and disseminate this propaganda that all these addictions and these addictive symptoms in our lives are forms of disease, then what we're doing is we're not creating healthy boundaries on our mental health and mental well-being. But what we're doing is we're actually creating this form of abnormality that reigns over the normality of our conditions. And now, to break down what I just said, is that once we start to frame these addictions under these disease criteria, under the DSM-5 and the WHO decisions upon the 2020 gaming addiction illness, we then start to put addiction labels, put disease labels on all sorts of human activities. Workaholics are addicts who are addicted to work, right? Professionalism and a sense of accomplishment and achievement. They're addicted, and that addiction can have side effects in their lives. And shopaholics are addicted to buying commercial goods, and that activity can be really thought as a monumentally, historically negative outcome in our society because of the rising debts, because of all the symptoms created on the side, and therefore we start to label the people with all these diseases, and who really benefits from that is the real question. Is the DSM-5, is the psychiatrists, it's the people who are making pharmaceutical, treatments for gaming addictions who will benefit the most, because the medical industry it depends on these labels, these prescriptions and these diagnoses of diseases. And the more people with diseases, the more needs arise for doctors to treat patients, right? And we're becoming these doctor to patient relationships, and it's not really healthy. So I would like to continue this conversation later on, because the camera battery has almost died now. So thank you for watching, and I'll post more videos like this. And if you liked it, then just thumbs up, and if you loved it, then subs. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.